Hey, greetings. Hope you're doing well. I am doing fine. My name is Benon, all the way from Kericho, and I'm bringing for us the gospel today. And I want to talk a little bit more about God, the Good Shepherd, and why God, the Good Shepherd. Several. If we look at the scriptures, we find that God has always described himself using different metaphors. In one place, he's calling himself, the spring of life. He's also calling himself a husband. He's calling himself, the water of life, the bread of life, and he's using all these names to describe himself. Now, what about God, the shepherd? As we know, a shepherd is someone who takes care of sheep, and us, being under the care of God. So we are, in this case, his sheep, and he is our shepherd. So he takes care of us. I've had the privilege of taking care of sheep while at home, and there are some behaviors that I will say about these creatures that I would really like you to know, even so that we can together understand the concept of God the shepherd and us being the sheep. Sheep are creatures with a certain kind of behavior, or I'll say weaknesses, that maybe we should first associate with or familiarize with. Then we can go more into that. One of the weaknesses of these creatures is they have a tendency of eating at the same spot, like over and over. As a shepherd, when you've taken them to a specific place for the first time, or maybe even the second time, they have this behavior that they would just want to eat from that place and not even want to move to any other place. And the bad thing about that is they will eat at the same place even when grass or the plants that they eat is finished. They will just tend to remain there, and of course they won't grow much, and that is dangerous to them as animals. And I think even for us as believers, it can be dangerous for us if we are accustomed, we are used to certain way of life that actually even it's no longer working for us, but we still involving ourselves in that kind of life, expecting to be fruitful, expecting to grow even in our spirituality, but at the end we remain stagnant, or we just remain failing and living a life of defeat all the time. And I think we need to be people that are directed by God, led by God to even greener places, to greener pastures, so that we may continue to grow in our different areas of life. Another weakness of these animals is they have a tendency of moving from the rest of the group. Like, they leave the rest of the sheep, maybe 2 or 3, they just move out of the group. And the problem with that is whenever they move out of the group, they are vulnerable to attacks by predators, by other animals, maybe dogs, maybe wolves, hyenas. For those people that have lived outside the urban centers, you're familiar with this. So these animals attack them, and they are really even helpless, I would say, without that. And I'm just going to talk a little bit more about that. But now, for us as believers, even we need to understand that life is never meant to be lived like in isolation, to be lived like to be alone. We need the family of believers to stay around with, a family of believers that we can do life together with. And even above that, we need a shepherd. We need someone to guide us. The sheep without a shepherd and in isolation, they are prone to attacks. And even the scripture talks about the devil, moving around like a roaring lion, looking for whom he may devour. And how dangerous is it even for us as believers if we are just in isolation and the devil just comes with this cunning mind and takes us off. So we need to be careful, and we need to stick to the family of believers and to the care of the shepherd. The other weakness is they're helpless when they encounter their threats. Like, these are animals that really can't help themselves. They can't on their own. They can't. When they are being attacked, for example, by a dog, they are not so good. They are not fast, I would say, in running. they cannot like run so fast so that they can be far away from the dog or something, or the kind of animal that's attacking. No, these animals are slow and they'll just be attacked and eaten and destroyed within a few seconds. When they are sick, when they're attacked by diseases, of course they never realize that. Now, like just any other animal, they never realize that they don't know how to treat themselves and all that kind of stuff. They don't know how to explain that I'm sick or something like that. So they are really helpless, and they always need someone to take care of them. They need a shepherd to take care of them. And it's just the same with us as believers. There are those moments that just things come and we really even don't know how to handle them. When trials, when temptations, when problems come, and we just don't know how to deal with that. So we always need someone to run through. We need someone stronger than us, because on our own we are weak. We need to be dependent on some other force that we cannot produce on our own. And of course, we thank God because He has given His Spirit to us freely, to us who have believed in Him. And so we should depend on Him, be able to listen to Him all the time, so that we live a life of victory. We live a life that we are we have help to back us up. That's more about the weaknesses of sheep. Now, talking more about God, our shepherd, knowing that we first want to know, God, our shepherd, how is it? How good is He? What does the scriptures say about that? And going to John chapter 10, verse 11. The first one is, it talks about He's a good shepherd, and a good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. So that's the extent to which God is able to go. He's able to go to just save His sheep. And like I said, I've had the privilege of taking care of them back at home. And one thing, there are those moments where, while taking care of them, I've actually lost them in the bushes, and I've gone search for them, and there are those days that I didn't find, and the time it was getting dark, and I cannot continue with the search because it's risky even for me to be in the bush alone, and I feel like I feel like it's not safe. But with God, it's a whole different story. With God, He says, "I'll lay down my life for my sheep." If my sheep is in the forest and it's in the middle of the night, I will go there and I will bring it back. I don't care. All I want is my sheep to be safe. And we can see that from the story of Jesus, when He comes and dies for the sake of us, for the sake of me and you, and all that. It's just a picture of how good our shepherd is. He's willing to lay down his life for his sheep. The second good thing about our good shepherd is his sheep knows him, and he also knows them. Okay, so it's not a partial kind of a relationship. There is really a good relationship between the sheep and the shepherd. The shepherd has initiated a relationship between them, and that is just so beautiful, because first, him saying that he knows the sheep, that means he knows us. He's saying he knows us. He knows our inside and our outside. He knows our hearts. He knows our victories. He knows everything that's concerned about us. In scriptures, He says He actually knows even the number of hair in our head. I don't know the number of my hair, but He knows mine. That means He knows a lot more about me. He knows a lot more about you than you actually know about Him. He also talks about, of course, his sheep knowing Him. His sheep knowing Him, and I think that is beautiful. That's incredible. Like, to have the privilege of knowing your shepherd, knowing your God. I mean, He has given us the ability, and He's saying, you know what? Hey, come to me. You can know me on a personal level. We can be friends. Yes, I'm God, but I'm willing, to put the title aside and just have this humble relationship with you. That's the kind of life that I want to have with you. I don't want to show up to show off. I mean, I don't want to show off before the world that, you know what, I'm king and I can't really, deal with such kind with people of your status. He said, no, he's not saying that. He's saying, come to me, let's live out together, let's reason together. That's a relationship that our God is calling us into, and I think he is really a good shepherd, the shepherd that we cannot compare him to anyone or to anything else in this world. And that is just so much good for us, even as believers. So what am I leaving for you today? I just want to encourage you in this. Be dependent on him. Okay? Be dependent on him. Be sensitive to what he's telling you right now or today, or he's been telling you for weeks or months or even years, but maybe even you're not responding to that. Right now I'm just telling you, hey, our God is a good shepherd, and he knows us, he knows you, he wants you, and he's good in just every way, in every other way he's good. And I think he deserves our trust. He deserves my trust. He deserves your trust. So let's live by faith fully in him and just surrender to his way, submit to his will, because I think that it's the best that we can offer to him. Thank you for watching this, and I hope you're blessed and have a blessed time as well.